Today we're in New York City with Elliott Hester, the author of Adventures of a Continental Drifter. Elliott, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Elliott, I understand that you've been homeless since 2002. Can you explain?
Yeah, well, in October of 2002, I decided to sell all my possessions. I sold my car, my bicycle, all my furniture, every item I owned pretty much, and bought an around-the-world ticket. And I left and traveled to 22 countries, and I was gone 18 months.
What is it like to live a keyless life?
It's very liberating. When I left in October, for the first time in my life, I had no keys, no sense of belonging any place. So traveling from place to place, sort of on a whim, was a really liberating experience for me. And I loved it so much that when I came back from the trip, I actually decided to keep on going, so I do it perpetually now.
What was the biggest annoyance in traveling the way that you did?
Cellular telephones. There's nowhere you can go on planet Earth and get away from cellular telephones. I was on a train from Delhi to Bangalore, India, 35-hour train ride, in a sleeping compartment with 3 other guys, and their phones rang all night and day, 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, the same tune, Jingle Bells. If I hear that song again, I'm going to kill somebody. I
love to travel, but I'm not really too much into roughing it. Do you have any suggestions for me?
Well, it really depends. I mean, if you want to go to a city, I really recommend Sydney, Australia. Sydney is one of my favorite cities. It's got everything a great city needs. It's got a great infrastructure, there's art, culture, a great nightlife, lots of bars, and people who are willing to have a good time. And at the same time, you have beaches, great beaches and great scenery right in the city. So Sydney is a really good place. And as far as an island is concerned, maybe, I would recommend Bali. I've been to Bali 3 times. It's my favorite island. The people are really warm and friendly. It's cheap. I rented a motorcycle for $5 a day and drove around the island, and I would stop in one village and find a place to stay. For $12, you can get a palatial bungalow by yourself, and the next day hop on your motorcycle, ride to the next village, and have a great time.
Elliott, what was the funniest thing that happened on your journeys?
The funniest thing was actually a joke that was played in the Czech Republic. I traveled there, and I met up with 2 Czech actors, a man and woman, boyfriend and girlfriend, and they were convinced that, you know, I looked like Samuel L. Jackson, which I really don't. So they came up with this idea for me to pose as Samuel L. Jackson at the 38th Annual International Film Festival in Karlovy Vary. They had another friend who looks exactly like John Malkovich. So together with their agents, they leaked a story to the press saying that Samuel L. Jackson and John Malkovich were coming at the last minute to the festival. And because the festival attendees, according to my friends, were a bit snobbish, they felt that everybody would sort of, really want to be seen with these 2 big American movie stars. So they hired a limousine, and we drove to Karlovy Vary, jumped out of the limo, and we were swarmed by people. The people thought I was Samuel L. Jackson, and so much so that we were in a restaurant that evening, and the word was out that the 2 big movie stars were in town. So this woman, Elliott Hester, I believe that's how you pronounce her name, she's the biggest pop singer in the Czech Republic, and she wanted to meet Samuel L. Jackson. So she comes running into the restaurant, and of course the bouncers stop her, and I wave for them to let her through. And she comes and she sits next to me, and she's asking me about my career, and I was just, delivering all this bull. It just kind of came out naturally. So, and the next day, the farce was revealed in a newspaper, and everybody thought it was hilarious, except for Elliott Hester.
Elliott, thank you very much for being with us today.
It was my pleasure.
The book is Adventures of a Continental Drifter by Elliott Hester. This book is a great read for travelers and non-travelers alike. You're going to be amazed at Elliott's courageous and hilarious stories. So pick up your copy today and read the book. Until next time, I'm James Michael Tyler. Goodbye.
I was in Dahab, Egypt, which is on Sinai Peninsula, and I went camel riding, but the Bedouin boy who took me riding didn't speak English, and of course I didn't speak Bedouin, so there was no instruction, there was no learning curve, so I just got on top of the camel and started going, and it was a pretty bumpy ride, and I actually got a blister that's still in my butt from 6 months ago.